Okay, so welcome everybody that actually made it on. Sorry for those who have to like listen to the recording. That happened to be on Melanie Mitro's call on like the national wake up call, and that tapped out at like 25,000. So I got caught on like not being able to call into the national wake up call one. Anyway, I just wanted to say thanks for showing up. First of all, like I was saying before I pushed record, because I know it's a sacrifice just to be here. And I wanted to talk today, you guys, a little bit about, I don't know, just sort of that overall encompassing like feeling of person as a coach. And there's, I don't know, by the show of hands, who thinks that being a Beachbody coach is like the easiest thing you've ever done? Anyone? Yeah, who said Dana? She's like, this is easy. Okay, well, next week, Dana's going to talk about how come it's so easy for her and how it can be easier for the rest of us, right? Has anybody ever thought to themselves, like, this is probably the hardest thing I've ever done? Like, I have months where I seriously, like, think to myself, what am I doing? Like, we should just quit. Like, this is crazy, like, nobody's, like, talking to me, and I feel like my challenge groups have all like fallen apart, or, I think we all kind of have those months where things just get like really hard, or someone really close to us like says, well, something very mean or nasty about like the fact that we're trying to start our own business and help people reach healthy, fulfilling lives. Right. So it's hard, and there's hard times for everyone. So the first person that I asked to talk with me tonight is one of my challengers, actually. New coaches. Hold on, let me get that straight. My coach, Amy. And Amy, actually, I'm going to go ahead and tell them the whole little story, Amy, about your background. And so because this kind of goes into what also I wanted to talk about tonight. So Amy reached out to me a year and a half ago, almost, in October. She was that month. This is why I remember, you guys, because from the time that I decided to be a serious Beachbody coach, in basically December of 2012, I hit Success Club 5 or 10 every single month until October. I was 1 month away from being a Success Club All-Star. And the month of October, I got 1 point. And it was not for lack of trying. I messaged probably 500 people. I was messaging my family. I was messaging all of my friends. I had, trying to run free groups and challenge groups, and all of these things I was trying to do to get people to join my challenge groups. And Amy was one of those who reached out to me, and then she bought something off of eBay, I think it was. So I had a couple people that I bought off of eBay instead of through my website, which I don't know if you guys, or Amazon, which I think kind of happens to all of us. And we talked about it, and I was like, it's totally fine. The only thing I ask from you is that when you join my challenge group, then that you put in 100% and you like inspire everyone else, and you comment on everyone else's comments and make sure that they are successful. So she did really good. And then, kind of fell off. And then I think it was in January, Amy broke her foot, right? Falling down the stairs. Am I got that right? The schedule really bad, and had to have surgery. And then it didn't heal, and she had to have a second surgery. So hold on, I'm hearing somebody. There we go. So she had surgery on her foot, and it was in then April that she called me again, and she's like, or reached out to me through Facebook. She's like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't keep, like, I'm gaining weight. I'm not losing weight. I'm going backwards. I have this injury, and I had to have surgery, and I can't put weight on my foot for 12 weeks. Like, no weight bearing, like not walking or anything for 12 weeks. And I was like, you know what? We can do it anyway. I have a sister-in-law who has one leg because of cancer, and she's doing Les Mills pump because she can modify the leg moves and do it with one leg and just lift the upper body. She's like, I'm going to do it. And so she did it, and she finally bought her first challenge pack. Well, it was hard to do Les Mills pump with just one foot. And then her other knee started bothering her, and she was struggling, but she was still exercising every day. But you guys, Amy didn't lose 40 pounds over the next 4 months. In fact, if I remember right, I don't think you lost any, like maybe a couple pounds over those first few months, when she was non-weight bearing. But when she went in, after she was finally able to start physical therapy, after her foot was healed enough, her physical therapist was like, oh my gosh, you're so strong. You're way stronger than I would have thought you would have been at this point after having to not use your foot for so long. Okay, Sarah was on here, and I got a couple of physical therapists. They're like, what do you know? Sarah would know. So she was excited about that. And then in like August, we started another challenge group. And she started doing it, and she modified her diet because Amy also has PCOS and she's insulin resistance, you know, working on all of these she has other issues that are like physical things that are hard. And then she started drinking Shakeology every day religiously for the first time, if I remember right. It was like when you finally started, Amy, like drinking Shakeology every day was maybe like in October. So that long, a whole year later, Amy finally started saying, okay, I am 100% in. And are you at 40 pounds yet? 35? 45 that she's lost now. So Amy has lost 45 pounds since August. And here's the biggest thing, you guys. She's having her third surgery on her foot tomorrow. It didn't heal like it was supposed to. And like this never happens. It's like 2% of the population have to go in for like this third surgery. And it's going to be a major surgery. So I wanted Amy to talk a little bit about just sort of her journey and more along like that sort of like the numbers and the statistics of it all. But just, you know, she started her like page and she's joined up to be a coach, and she just wanted her like page. Her name is like No More Excuses. And that's what she's finally, I think, come up with is that no more excuses. You can always have excuses, but not anymore. And I'm not going to do it. So I wanted Amy to just talk for about 5 minutes. Tell us a little bit about the emotional journey that kind of goes along with that. And I'll unmute you because I muted you. Okay, go Amy.
Okay. So I guess I thought that you just wanted me to share my story about everything. And so I was going to share all that, and that's kind of what I had planned. But if you want me to tell you about the emotional journey, you might catch me crying on here because I am planning for surgery in the morning. So, and you know, another 12 weeks non-weight bearing, but you know, a friend of mine, actually, she's my next door neighbor. She came over today, and I talked to her about what a blessing this has actually been. And I can't believe that I'm actually saying that my foot hurting my foot to the magnitude that has been a blessing, but it happened. And regardless that it's happened, I've got to look past the fact that it has and just find the good in it. And the good that's come out of it is that I've decided to get fit and healthy and to change my life for the better. And so I'm becoming healthier, and I've, you know, losing the weight has been a huge, a great thing. Do you know what I mean? But I think the best thing from it has been that I'm kind of finding myself, I think for the first time ever in my entire life, that I'm finding myself and that I'm actually happy with myself. And the other thing is you know, you've always like have this core, like when you think of yourself, you think of a core that you have that you always kind of draw into and say, okay, I can get through this. I can move on to the next thing. And, you know, I always felt like I had that core, but that it wasn't very solid. And it's basically just your character of what, you know, how strong your character is what your core is. And I feel like I have a stronger character now because of it. And I owe it all to, I won't say it all to Amy and Beachbody, because I think that the workout buddy that I found along the way too has really helped too. But between the three of them, I wouldn't be where I'm at today, and I wouldn't be the person that I'm at, and also because of my foot. But I am a stronger person, and I have more determination to get through things, because I think, you know, there's like, you know, along with the statistics that Amy shared with you, I mean, it's life changing for professional players that do this when they have this injury. It's called a Lisfranc injury. It's career ending for them. Do you know what I mean? And so I know, obviously, from somebody who is starting out at 247 pounds, obviously I'm not going to get back to a huge, you know, physique that I'm, you know, able to go and do all these great things. But, you know, and even I'm obviously not going to be a professional player in the end of this, but I can hopefully, you know, my doctor said I'll be able to walk at a brisk pace. And I know that some of you probably think walk at a brisk pace, that's nothing, but I'll be able to walk at a brisk pace without pain. And I don't care if I can't walk, I'll be able to lift the weights, and I'll be able to also just the perseverance that I've developed that it doesn't matter what I can do in the end, I can find a way around it. And that's, I think, the biggest thing that I've learned from it, that no matter what comes my way, there's a way around it if you want something bad enough. So I don't know. Do you want me to talk about anything else, or?
That was absolutely perfect. I mean, if you think of something you need to jump in and share, go ahead. But that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight. So you let in perfectly we did not coordinate that. But this is what I love about Amy's story is this, like she said, this is sort of like a life altering thing to have this massive of an injury on your foot. But you add that life altering thing with an extra 80 pounds. Because you're 45 pounds gone, but where would you have been if you would have been on bed rest for those 12 weeks and not improved your health and lifestyle? There's all that weight that goes the other way. So it was such it's been so fun to watch Amy's transformation, be a part of watching it happen on a day-to-day basis. And this is sort of the thing that I get, is addicting about what we do, you guys. This is that thing, if you get that chance to actually help someone who it can make all the difference. You guys, the whole path, the whole course of my life that I was on before I found Beachbody has completely changed. And I'm going in a completely different direction. And to be able to help even one person do that same thing, just completely change the course of their life is, it's addicting. It's such an amazing feeling. And it makes all of the hard days so worth it, right? So that's kind of what I want to talk to you guys about, and using Amy's story, in her physical, the stuff that she's gone through physically, you guys, it compares so well with what we do as coaches every day. And there's so many comparisons, as you do your challenges and you talk with your challengers, you'll find these parallels with the things that you're going through as a coach, the things that you're trying to overcome. They just are in a different arena. But I wish I could share 1,000 stories like Amy's, because there's so many more. And there's so many other people who have just inspired me so much. And just, it's been so exciting to be a part of their journey. But I would say too, coming from the coach's perspective, and I think probably all of us to some degree, but some more than others. I know so many coaches who have, and challengers, the minute they sort of decide, okay, I am ready to do this, I am going to change my life, their car breaks down the next day, or their heater, or it's I can't buy a challenge pack. All of my money has to go to this other thing, right? Same thing. Okay, I am going to be a coach. I'm going to take this seriously. And then it's this major life catastrophes happen, or a surprise pregnancy, or you guys, the number of things that I have found that have popped up for people that they were not expecting is pretty actually amazing. So one of the things that I would just say, I want to start warning people when I talk to them, be just so you know, now that you've decided to do this, all hell is going to break loose, and everything in the universe is going to try and knock it back down, because this is such a positive, amazing thing. And I don't know if you guys believe in karma or in adversity, an actual being, but it's that kind of amazing that can happen in your life. And I actually believe that the universe tries to balance that. They don't want you to have this amazing goodness in their life. I've seen it too many times to not believe that. So as a coach, then you're trying to run your business, and you're going to have months like I did that month in October, a year and a half ago, that sort of just, it was so frustrating. It was 1 month away from being a Success Club All-Star. It was so close, you guys. And at the time I was oh, well, I guess I'll just keep going. But it's kind of that, I made it 10 months, I was 11 months actually, because I'd done December. I just had to do October and November. But what happened was, and I would say this with complete confidence now, was that 1 month sort of became a turning point for me, for my business, because I didn't hit Success Club that month. I had to take a step back and evaluate the last few months of my business and what I had been doing differently and what I had changed or what went wrong. And I started looking, and I started reaching out to other coaches on our team for help, being okay, you hit Success Club every month. I know this is easy for you. will you look at some of these conversations I've had with people and tell me what I could have done differently? That was the first month that I started trying to run a free challenge group, because I realized one of the reasons people weren't buying challenge packs from me anymore was because I think 98% of the challenge packs I had sold up to that point were with people I knew personally. And that was the first month I had to try and cold sell, basically, with people that I had never met. I was pulling them off of my like page. And it's a different ball game when you're not talking to your best friend next door who knows you and has watched your transformation over the last year, to someone like Amy, who I had never met. She had followed me for like a month or something. And if I'm going to get on the phone and talk to her for a few minutes, it's much tougher for them to be like, okay, I trust you. I'm going to spend $200 and buy a challenge pack, right? That's a hard thing to do. So that changed how I started running my business, as far as I learned how to gain someone's trust from a cold call, is like what I like to refer to. Somebody who I've never met in person, I've only interacted with on my like page, pull them into my friends list, get them through sort of a free group or some sort to build their trust. And it's exactly like building the pipeline. Like I've heard Bria talk about that, like when she talks about building Success Club and stuff, is keeping that pipeline of people full of people who trust you. And that's critical for being able to hit that Success Club every month and building their trust. But here's the actual point that I want to make, rather than tell you how to do all those things, because I know we've had conversations about that, and we could do that again on another night if you want more ideas on how to build that trust. But the point that I wanted to make tonight is we're all going to have months like that in our business, or years like that in our business, like where you feel like you've put in everything and you're hitting a wall, you're hitting some wall, right? There is a wall that you just can't get through. And this, I want to show you guys this quick video about this, because he explains it very well. And so this is Steven Pressfield is his name. He's actually an author. I don't know if you guys have ever read the book Gates of Fire, but it's actually, it's about, I hear like children outside. Oh, it's my husband home. Oh, my husband's home. Hi, you scared me. I didn't think he was in the home yet. Anyway, it's a book. Have you guys seen or heard the movie The 300 about Sparta, right? So it's a book that's a much better book. It's a much more in-depth and much more historically accurate about that same Spartan, like the 300 that stood their ground, against the thousands of army. And this is the author that talks about it. And what he's started to do is share, he has a book, which I think I'm going to get for my next personal development, that's called The War of Art, not The Art of War by Sun Tzu, The War of Art. And it's, his is like specifically talking about being a writer and how to get past like those writing blocks that people get. But I think like when he talks, you'll have to listen to what he says, but I think it has a lot to do with what we do as coaches. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay. Somebody like tell me desktop. No, this one. Share screen. And then let me get over to this. Okay, somebody speak up and tell me if you can't hear it, because I'm going to play it and it's just going to go. Unless you tell me you can't, it's not working.
The demon escapes the dragon slave is internally based. It's internal self-sabotage. What I call resistance to capital R. And one has one of the question that becomes, how do you overcome what you identify?
What the heck?
Can't hear it.
Really, this negative force that's out there is resistant. As an example,
You can't hear it?
I can hear it a little bit, but it's real low.
Let me see if this helps. Tell me if that helps. If not, I'll just explain what he talks about.
if you ever try to meditate, you try to quiet your mind, you find just these crazy
It's
things.
better.
One after
Okay.
the other. And if you identify with them and you say, that's me, then you're in trouble. But if you recognize them as just sort of alien, visitations, you just let them pass through and keep working. So, okay, how do you overcome resistance? For me, the policy that I use, or the phrase that I use, is turning pro, which is a kind of a different attitude from being an amateur to being a professional. Now, an amateur, when an amateur hits a sticking point, Like if you're going to play basketball, you'll just be tired of the bench and say, hey, it hurts. A pro, like Kobe Bryant or somebody like that, learns to play hurt. And a pro learns to do all the things that we do on our regular jobs, but apply it to our love, the love of our life, our work. A pro shows up every morning no matter what. A pro stays on the job all through the day. A pro doesn't over-identify with the work, so that if there's a failure, it knocks them out of the batter's box. A pro doesn't take failure personally or success personally. A pro is patient. A pro endures adversity. A pro plays hurt. All of this kind of attitude of a professional helps you attain that sort of lunch pail, hard hat, attitude that's not precious, not a prima donna, not a diva, but a hard-working, hit 'em every day, go for it, infantry attack mode. And that, for me, is how you get something done from A to Z. I'm Stephen Pressfield. I'm positively positive.
He's also cheesy. Okay. Let me see if I can go back into stop sharing. Stop share. There. Did you guys hear it at least okay? Get the idea? Okay, good. Some people heard it at least. So some of the things that I liked what he said that apply to what we do is the difference between an amateur and a pro, right? And comparing it to like a professional athlete. And this actually goes in kind of like what Amy was saying too, but like an amateur, they get a hurt ankle. They're like, okay, I'm going to rest up and I'll jump back in when it feels better because there's no reason to push through it, right? But once you become a professional, you realize that sort of these pains and these injuries become a part of what you do and you show up every day. And I love that. Yes, Kelly, what you were saying, a professional does not take failure or success personally. Okay. You are just there. You're doing the work, right? So when somebody says, no, this is a load of crap. It's, I'm not buying into your crappy whatever. I hear that all the time. Like, this is a get rich quick scheme and I'm not gonna have anything to do with it. I don't take that personally anymore. And I think when you first start out, it's a lot harder to not take things personally. It's kind of like, oh, my best friend said I'm a load of crap, but eventually like, you just kind of get used to it and you're like, oh, it's okay. I mean, and then it's not for you. And that's sort of my new attitude. Well, then this isn't for you and that's okay. I'll find somebody who it is for. But also on the other side, you have to be very careful to not take success personally, right? It is not because of me that Amy was successful. She says that, but it's not true. She forgets that she was the one who showed up every single day. And she is the one that refused to stop exercising. And she is the one that refused to have, this excuse. She didn't let this excuse ruin her life. And she pushed forward. And by being able to, turn that around and say, this is not me, then you're not going to have these highs and these lows and these highs and these lows and these highs and these lows. It's just exciting being a part of the journey. Does that make sense? Does somebody have a question? Did I hear somebody? No? Okay. And then another one of the things that I loved is when he said, a failure is not the end. Okay. So like if we're going to put like for me, and I think, I don't think Blake's on here, but Blake did a post the other day about, just sort of the struggles that she's had in her business. And she said, but I realized like I'm in this, not because I want to be a multimillionaire or whatever, but I'm in this because I love the people and I love the journey. And once you finally hit that mindset up in here, it's like, no matter what, I'm sticking with this because I love it so much. That's sort of a game changer. Like, I don't know how many of you have reached that point yet, like where it's just like, I don't even care if I fell. Like, I'm going all the way. Like, who cares if I don't hit Success Club for 10 months in a row? I'm going to figure out a way to hit Success Club eventually. And I don't care if I don't have anybody that joins my coaching team. I'm still coaching challenge groups, or, you have to just sort of eventually, and I think it takes time. And maybe some people right from the beginning can just be like, I'm all in, I don't care. And some people it will take longer. But, I think I was talking about this with some other coaches, and I think it kind of happens differently for everyone. You'll have a different moment that becomes your, okay, I'm all in. Like for some, it was like, when Emma made Elite, it was like, wow, this is like for real. This is actually possible. We could do this. Or for some, it was when, you know, they had a challenger who it changed their life. And it's like, this is amazing. No matter what, I'm going to stay with this, you know? And I heard a lot of people, especially when they first start out, like, well, I'm going to give it a year, you know, and if it doesn't really pan out, well then, you know, I'll just quit. And if that mentality doesn't change, a year from now, you won't be coaching, because there's so many like ups and downs. And there's coaches who are very successful in a year and a half worth of time, but that's much more like you have to be able to put in a lot of time. And so, for many of us, we're not at that phase of our life where like every single day for 8 to 10 hours, I can invest in the business. And so it's just going to be a slower journey, and I'm okay with that. But the difference is, you know, when I hit that month in October at month 11 of being a Success Club All-Star, I didn't quit. I kept going. And I had some down months. It definitely like played some games with my mind. I was like, you know, I'm not going to focus on Success Club anymore. I'm just going to focus on helping people. And so I had some months when I hit 20, and then some months I hit 4, and then I would hit 15, and then I would hit like 10. And it was just kind of this up and down. And I was okay with that too, because I was like, Success Club All-Star, who cares? But then, you know, Carrie and Bria started getting Success Club All-Star, and Chelsea, and I'm like, now I want Success Club All-Star. And so I changed my mind again, and I started working hard for it again. But it really is like, it's up here. It was up here. I went, no, I am not going to miss Success Club anymore. And I started working harder, and I put in more time, and I messaged more people. And that's really the only thing you can do differently. Does that make sense? Like, you have to put in the actual time and the effort, and then more until you figure out, you know, you can reach out to people who are hitting Success Club, you know, significantly, and be like, what am I doing wrong? And then they can help you. Or there's so many things you can do, but the difference is it's not the end, right? This is not the end of the game for us. We're in it for the long haul. And I liked what he said, you know, somebody who's a professional, they show up every day. This is like the number one thing I would say, like, to new coaches who especially get really discouraged, is go back to that daily activities that's posted on Fierce Fit Phenomenon or your Team Hope, and you show up every single day. Check those off every single day, and you will be successful. Like, you will find enough people to join you in your journey. And if you are struggling with certain things like your confidence or how to sell to people, like you don't feel like you're good at selling, well, that's where personal development comes in. That's why it's like one of the vital behaviors. You got to go find those personal development books that help you overcome those obstacles, basically. But you're going to show up every day, no matter what. And I would say, like, especially this goes along with like life tragedies, you know, you're moving across the country, you have a baby, you have kids that get sick, you have your husband loses his job, you have all of these life tragedies that are going to kind of come up and down, and you have to still show up every day. Those basic daily activities. Now, I don't think you have to spend 8 hours every single day. Some days I can't do that. I can't put in 2, you know, it's been a horrible week. We've had snow days and sick kids and chaos at my house. But at the bare minimum, I do those daily activities every day, right? It's 10 simple things, and I show up every day. And sometimes I don't answer all of my messages. Those can wait till the next day. But I always make sure to go back and make up for those days where I don't put in the 2 to 4 hours. Like, so maybe your business hours are 1. Well, if you can only get 10 minutes one day, make sure you do the extra 50 minutes the next day, if that makes sense. Because you've got to be consistent in showing up. And I love that he like said kind of like, this job is, you know, like, yeah, because you have a failure, it can't ruin your whole day. So there has to be some separation, right, between like what we do and our personal attitude every day. It could affect you like on your ups and downs. Could be your family would go absolutely nuts if like every conversation affected how you feel about your whole day. At some point, you have to kind of close your computer and walk away and get back to your daily life, you know. And I think that's where like sometimes when spouses get upset or, you know, things, and they're like, oh, your whole life is going to be, this is what they're referring to. You're not able to shut that computer and walk away and like start focusing on something else that has to do with your life. Like, these professional athletes put in a lot of time and a lot of hours, but then they have to be able to go home from practice at night and spend some time with their real life. You know, there are a lot of sacrifices, but building those sort of boundaries around what we do in your daily life is also important. And then the other one that he said that I really liked is that a professional becomes patient. And yes, Simbri, it's really hard to shut it down. I know, sometimes like, and you just got to sit and message people all night. You're like, you get so excited, and I have a really hard time. I just finally turned off all the notifications on my phone, on Facebook, on everything, so that I don't hear anything unless I'm at my business hours. Otherwise it goes away and it's just gone. So anyway, he said being patient is another big part of it. And this is where it comes down to like all of that together. This is not like you would talk to your challengers, this is not a lose 40 pounds in 1 month type of challenge group. Okay. This is the slow, steady work that we're going to put in. Probably one of my all-time favorite, probably my favorite national wake-up call was the one that Janelle Summers did back a little ways in like October, I think, I think it was October. And she said like the thing that like irritates her more than anything is a new coach saying, well, I tried, it's just not for me. She's like, 3 months in, she's like, that's like nails on a chalkboard to me. She's like, no, at 3 months, you cannot predict your success in this business. She's like, stop. The way that you become successful is by doing the consistent small behaviors over a long period of time, right? It's the compound effect. It's the daily activities that you show up every single day over and over, inviting, reconnecting, value posting, doing your workouts, drinking your Shakeology, reading your personal development over a long period of time is where you have success. If you want to be more successful faster, triple or quadruple your daily activities. Instead of reconnecting with 5, reconnect with 20. Instead of inviting 3, invite 20 every single day. That's what like Scotty Hobbs did when he sacrificed all of his time. Like he was going door to door selling Shakeology. He was like shaking up Shakeology in their house. Be like, let's try, you have some juice and some strawberries. Perfect. And he'd mix it up for them. He put in he added to his invite list. All of those daily activities, that's everything you need to really know to be successful. Just do them consistently over a long period of time. And then as you have more time, you can do things like perfect a website, or you can do things like make your like page look prettier, or maybe create a blog. But we don't always have all that extra time. So the things you don't skip are those daily activities. Every day show up, no matter if your kids are sick all night, no matter if there's a snow day and the kids are running around driving you crazy. I've got on vacations and moved across the country, and I still work out every day in my hotel room or at my campsite. And I still get on Facebook and I do those quick daily to-do activities. Sometimes I don't get to answering all my messages. That's why I leave that for last. That's a tip for you guys. Like I answer messages very last, and when I'm out of time, it goes to the next day. Everything else I can get done really quickly. So, I guess like it kind of all boils down to what Jeff Hill said, for those of you who are at the retreat, when we went in and talked to corporate, and he said, basically what you need to do today is just make a decision. Are you all in, or are you not all in? And you don't have to be all in. You can decide, that's too much work for me. I just want to be a hobby coach. I'd rather run one challenge group every 3 months when I feel ready. And if that's all you want, then that's all you need to do, right? Is just take it at that level. But if you want to go all in and become a professional Beachbody coach, do this for your job, then there's some of these things that inside those like internal resistance things that you have to overcome, like the fear of failure, and you have to show up every day, and you have to know that failure is not the end, and that your failures and your successes don't define you. And you have to have patience with your challengers, and patience with your business, and patience with yourself as you're in this learning process of trying to figure out, I don't know, I just remember being completely overwhelmed by the thought of like starting a like page. I mean, that was like overwhelming to me. I was like, why would everyone's doing a like page. Why would I do a like page? And who would even follow me? And what would I even post? Like all those things are so overwhelming when you start. So, but if you have decided up in here that, no matter what, I'm sticking with it, then you're going to make it. You'll be successful. You'll push through those barriers, and you'll push through those like really hard times that you have, and it will be successful. So we have a few minutes if anybody wanted to like add to that or had a question. You can like raise your hand and then unmute so I can like call you out so it doesn't like get crazy. I like all of these like chats that are going on down. Yes, what Chelsea said. I like that. Chelsea said it out loud. I like that because that is critical.
Oh, I was just reading the chat while you were talking, and everyone was saying they have a hard time putting anything else in because the 3 vitals take up so much time. And I used to try to do everything I saw other coaches doing. I was like, I have to start a website, I have to start a blog, I have to start doing Automatic CEO, I have to start doing a fun challenge group and a free challenge group and like 20 things. And I sucked at all of them because I was trying to do too many things. So I stopped and I do one thing at a time. So I did a like page and I focused on it for like 3 months. It's hard to get your like pages to grow. And I mean, I'm sure, I mean, maybe you're way better at it than me, but it was hard for me to get my like page to grow. And so I focused on it. And then after I felt like I had a really, really good handle on that, then now I'm doing Automatic CEO so I can get lists and things like that going. So my business keeps moving in the right direction. But I'm not focusing on a website, which I really wanted to do, because I'm focusing on this, and it takes me a lot longer to do it because I'm not a full-time Beachbody coach. I'm with my little girl all day. So I just do it when I can. Like I've set in my mind that I'm going to dedicate 20 minutes to Automatic CEO. So I do my vitals and then I find 20 minutes a day. And it's not as much as I want to do, but I'm slowly making progress in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's what I do.
No, I think that's good. And even going back to like those vitals, again, like do those one at a time. Force your mind to focus on one thing at a time. So when you're working out, you're working out. When you're Automatic CEO is a program that you can bring up to, it generates emails for you. It collects your customers' information. That's, I would say, for most of you further down the road. Get your like page started and get your vitals going. But as you get going, you're going to want to have a way to organize your business, and it's a good one. So there's a couple of other programs. But like when you are inviting 3 people to a challenge group, that's all I'm doing. I'm not responding to the rest of those invites yet. When I'm posting in my challenge groups, I'm not responding to all of their notifications. When I'm, you got to start taking, and then that way, like what happens is when you sit down to do like your vitals and that power hour, you can literally check things off the list and come right back where you left off when you have more time. And that's why I was saying I save answer messages for very last. And if I happen to have more time, I'll scroll through my notifications of who's liked some of my posts or commented on things. I actually don't usually look at those. I just go in and do those vital behaviors and I answer messages until I'm out of time. I don't know if that helps anybody either, and focusing on just one thing at a time is hard. Okay, I'm going to look at some of these. Somebody else have a question while I go through all of this. Somebody said they're a multitasker. I'm totally the same way. And that's why like I had to actually force my mind to focus on one thing because I kept getting like distracted, and then I was answering this and I was doing this. And it's so hard to go back and like actually finish from where you left off because you're all over the place. So yeah, and I did a checklist as well. That makes a much bigger difference for me, for anybody that works better with checklists. Maybe else have questions or comments. Let me go. Hey, there's all these. Hi. This is awesome, you guys. Amy Curzone, I hope you read some of these comments. They're all for you, babe. All right. Amy Porterfield's is good. Okay, you guys. Well, if nobody else has any questions or comments, we can wrap up because that's all I had. Anyone? Good? You're welcome. Bye, you guys. Have a good night. Yes, I get to go to bed before like 10 o'clock. Score! Yeah, you're welcome. We'll see you guys later.